Welcome to Beyond Today's podcast. This is the Rod and Cyndee podcast. I hope everybody's doing great today. I'm doing wonderful. My name is Rod Lyman here at Beyond Today, and my beautiful co-host is Cyndee Movie. Yes, awesome. We have a very, very, very special guest today. She's so special. She's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's awesome to finally get to have her on the air. But we may be running into some technical difficulties with her because she is out in the middle of nowhere. So if we lose her, we'll just tell her, hey, could you repeat that or whatever else. So bear with us with this podcast. It's worth listening to. That is for sure. Because we have the only
Cyndee Movie.
Our special guest, Cyndee.
Oh, of course.
Who is our special guest?
Yes.
Weirdo.
Cyndee Movie. No.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say welcome and glad to be back. And our beautiful, lovely guest is Linda West, all the way from Northern Arizona. She's a beautiful lady with a lot of beautiful knowledge and wisdom. We're excited to have her.
Absolutely.
Hi there.
Hi, Linda. How you doing?
Hello.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So far, so good?
Yes, we can hear you okay. It's kind of funny doing a podcast with you guys in the backwoods up there. And you guys usually only had telegraph, right?
Right.
We had to send a telegraph to get a hold of you.
And the same thing happens.
Yeah, Pony Express up there yet?
The same thing happens with a cell phone, which is why I have a landline when I do readings over the phone, because you just never know. There's an ebbing and flowing of internet and phone service where I live. And so I apologize for that, everyone, and hope we can get through this, with a lot of angelic and divine help. How about that?
Absolutely. Perfect. I talked earlier, we were talking about the weather and that, it's 82 degrees here, and you were telling us that it's going to be in the 90s this weekend here in Phoenix. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, I'm so excited.
OMG. Yes.
90s.
Yes. 90s. It's too.
I had to pack and unpack because I'm coming down there for the weekend, and it's like, holy smokes. It's like spring has sprung. I was telling you the koi are out in the pond in my backyard because it's a whopping 62 degrees where I live. And the sun is, so much warmer up here, believe it or not. And when they feel that warmth coming through the water, they get out of hibernation and just swim around. So we're in it. We're in the changing seasons, which is exciting.
Oh, dead air.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine. It's just like I got up to shut the door because we're at Beyond Today, and it's a busy day today. So I got up to shut the door, and Cyndee kind of was staring off in the space, and she's imagining.
Well, you can't complain about too much business, right? No. That's a good thing.
Heavens, no, I'm not complaining about the business. That it's just Cyndee kind of.
That's for sure.
Cyndee in La La Land over here.
It's the magical, divine sound of my voice, right, Cyndee?
Absolutely. How can you not just go?
There you go. I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's not what it is. It's not. Okay. No, she was thinking about your koi pond. So.
Oh, it's marvelous. It is marvelous.
Absolutely. So we're doing great. Let's keep going here and that. No technical difficulties, knock on wood. And so let's move on. You are this beautiful soul. Cyndee and I know you really well in that. But kind of tell everybody about what you do and where you're from and that.
Well, I've been doing spiritual work for 25 years. And as I was saying, I used to call myself a psychic medium, but that doesn't seem to be the center of things anymore. It's more of a spiritual advisor. I'm teaching people how the energy is changing, how it's affecting them physically, emotionally, spiritually, which a lot of people do not realize how this higher frequency, which is constantly changing. I mean, the last couple months, what if we had a couple of eclipses. We've had full moons. I mean, every time there's a full moon now, there's some energy, whipping in with it, and we are affected in a big way. And my job is to help you understand that. My job is to help the person figure out how to use this magnificent energy that we are in and move forward, even though I can do the psychic and I can do the medium stuff, but it's more about what direction you as an individual are going in, and what direction that person really wants to go in, and how they can change that, and how they can be empowered so they don't need me, which is really, the point. That's the fun part, empowering people.
Well, absolutely. I love that idea that when we empower somebody, and that we give them their power back to do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right. And so many people do not understand that, nor do they understand what's happening with this amazing high frequency, and they are affected. They get sad, they get fearful, they get depressed, they are affected physically, the aches and pains and things like that are going on, dwelling in the past, worried about the future. And this is what the class that we're having on Sunday at 1:00 at your marvelous place is going to help everyone understand, because believe it or not, the journey to Atlantis, which is the class, has a lot to do with how people are feeling these days.
Right. Elaborate a little bit more about that, because there's a lot of stuff about the planetary things of Venus and everything that's going on. People are talking about Atlantis now, or the Atlantis times right now. It's beautiful.
I know, isn't that? I actually saw. I was told before the end of the year that it was time for me to bring this class out, and I actually saw a post today on Facebook of a person also doing a class in San Diego, California, about Atlantis. So obviously we are on the right track here. That energy is affecting us. We have not been in this high a frequency since the time of Atlantis. And the goings on that happened in Atlantis, which lasted a very long time. And of course, I'll go into great detail, on Sunday, but I don't even know how many years we were there or how many lifetimes, but I know we had some amazing capabilities. But we haven't had this frequency, which means this high in energy, this high a vibration on the planet since Atlantis. So it unleashes within us old memories that are in our DNA, in our cells. It makes us question our power. Some people did not have such a great experience in Atlantis. And it could bring back not so great memories. Others may have had really good memories there, depending on what side of things you were on. But this energy, this emerging of this energy, is also bringing the emerging within ourselves about needing to be empowered, needing to understand what energy is and how we use it. And it's not even a learning process. It's a remembering process, which is what this class is about, which is why it is so much fun. We'll be taking a trip back to that time. And it's amazing to me, people's memories of the city, of the place, what we were able to accomplish there, how many people have the same visual, the same memories, the same internal feelings about what happened there, which is fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
That is fascinating.
On so many levels.
Well, I can't wait to be part of that class. I mean, it's going to be really exciting about it. I know I came from Atlantis, and Cyndee knows she came from Atlantis. The energy of who we are comes from Atlantis. And I had a really great experience when I was from Atlantis.
I'd like to know what the energies are.
And for myself, pardon me?
Sorry, go ahead.
What did you say?
I just had a question.
No, what did you say, Cyndee?
My question is that
Sure.
what kind of high vibration energies are we? Can you give an example, or have people been sharing things? Because I know I personally have been going through stuff and hearing other people going through stuff as well.
Personally, for myself, I'm feeling it in my physical body, and which is I will explain in great detail. It's always been my left side that goes out. I visit the chiropractor 3 times a week. It's always my left side that goes out. It's always been that the left hip would shift or what, all these things, and then all of a sudden, by the end of the year, it's everything's on my right side, which, female side, male side. So I'm coming into balance. We are all in some form or another coming into balance. And the coming into balance can be uncomfortable. The physical body for me is always the last to catch up. We have to go through the emotional and the spiritual shifts, which can really mess with the brain, which can really be a lot of fear, a lot of sadness that we need to release. And when people get into fear or get into depression or get into sadness, they try to attach it to something. They try to attach it to their present moment. And for what's happening to us in this frequency is a releasing of this energy. And it's coming from the very depths, from the very core, from the mitochondria. I mean, we are getting rid of this at the deepest level available, and it's not attached to your present moment. It is very, very, very old emotions, and it is affecting how we're viewing our world at this moment. And that's what we have to be able to distinguish and try and understand. And then for myself, as I said, the physical body being the last to catch up, because I went through that part. Now I'm in, I've always been a left side kind of gal. It's all about the goddess. It's all about this. Now it's all on the male side, trying to find the yin and yang balance. And it can really mess with your head, to say the least.
Well, absolutely.
Does that help, Cyndee?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Go ahead.
She asked if that helped.
Yes, it did. It did. It helped a lot. Thank you so much. And I get it. I get a lot what you're saying. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
We've been having a lot of experiences of clients here that have been coming in that are going through this change, and their chest is burning. They feel shaky inside. They're going through all these different tremors and everything else in that. Are you going to touch a little bit about that too this weekend, this Sunday?
Yes, the chakras are clearing. The physical body is working very, very hard to take in the high frequency. And in order for the physical body, because the energy, this frequency we have, it is our soul, the energy of source, the energy of the universe, God, whatever you choose to call it, resides in our cells. And if people are not nourishing their physical bodies to where the cells are strong enough to take this high frequency, it can cause, like you said, the tremors, the low blood sugar, migraines, headaches, being off balance. But also what's going on as our spiritual bodies are embracing this higher frequency is that we are, the spiritual body itself sometimes is even above. If you take a look at all the different bodies, or understand the different bodies, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, our spiritual bodies are grasping at these high frequency changes that are going on. And it takes time for the physical body to be able to embrace that spiritual body. And sometimes the spiritual body is above like our head. So we're walking and we're tripping over nothing. We're dizzy. You know, you stand up and all of a sudden you're dizzy. You're having dreams that are extremely vivid. You are experiencing things that are literally about getting you in balance for this fourth and fifth dimensional planes that is happening. And people are opening very, very quickly, and their physical body is oftentimes not ready. They're still holding on to things, or they're not feeding themselves correctly. And these things can make you very, very uncomfortable. Does that
Really,
help answer that question?
Very uncomfortable. Yeah. Well, that's what we've been. A lot of the clients that we've been experiencing that's one of the big things they say is that they're uncomfortable about a lot of things. They're uncomfortable to be held. They're uncomfortable to be touched. They're uncomfortable about life itself.
Yes. Yes. And that's the transformation. And if we don't understand what's happening, see, I'm lucky because I've gone through all of that, but I understand what's happening. And my husband, he'll say something to me and then I'll explain it to him. So even though he's uncomfortable on whatever level, he gets the whole lowdown, on a regular basis, and is able to then embrace it into his day-to-day life. And people just always are looking for something or someone to blame when they feel uncomfortable, when this is actually a transformation process that they have opted for, or they wouldn't be here on this planet at this time. And it's up to you when you work on them to help them understand that you are releasing very, very, very old energy. Don't try and attach it to anything. Try and detach it. Try and acknowledge, hey, I'm feeling fearful today, or hey, I'm feeling depressed today. And once you acknowledge it, you're able to release it. If they are physically uncomfortable, then it's just a big deal of what are you eating? And are you getting body movement in? Because our food is so full of chemicals, and people do not realize how clean we need to have our physical bodies in order to hold this higher frequency. I always try to remind people it's kind of like the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. That what happened is that they've created dead zones in the Gulf of Mexico where oxygen is not there anymore and nothing can grow. And then they put the suppressant on it, which is a chemical, and that made things worse. Well, our bodies are an environmental terrain, and much of what is out there that is called food does not nourish the cells. So they're always hungry, or they're headachy, or they're tired, or they can't find the energy. And if they've got that imbalance physically going on, it's going to be very, very difficult for the mental plane and the spiritual plane and the emotional plane to be able to come together to understand that this is really an amazing process, because the discomfort level is going to be so high.
Absolutely.
Yes,
do you understand?
Absolutely. I can relate to a lot of what you said and then some.
Kind of hit Cyndee a little hard.
It's not complicated when you really think about it. You opted to be here to take on a higher frequency. We are literally, when we started Atlantis, holy smokes, we were coming off of Lemuria and we decided to start Atlantis. And when we came to Lemuria, we were here as spirit beings first before we took on physical bodies, but the more we hung out on the planet, the more we identified with the physical world. But we were still, when we first started Atlantis, at that high frequency, we understood that the physical body, the spiritual body, the mental body, and how the ego kind of came in and oftentimes took things over. So we were more enlightened in that respect. Now, and what's happening is we're trying to reverse that project. We're going from ego to high frequency being, and all these things, in order for you to be that high frequency being, have to happen before you can really be at that place where you can walk through a different dimensional plane. And every time there's a shift, we rise up with it. And if you're not in that space to accept that energy, and you accept it anyways, like I said, the spiritual body can take it, but it takes a while to integrate that high frequency into the physical body. The healthier you are, the stronger you are, the more you allow for the emotions to be released instead of trying to overanalyze them, instead of trying to figure out what they're about. The more you release them and do that, the easier this process gets from the understanding of the higher frequency. That's my job. That's my job, which is very exciting, but can you have to be ready to do it.
Yeah. Well, I do have a question with that. Now,
what do you think,
Cyndee? Anybody be affected by this higher vibration, or certain? Okay, because I didn't know if maybe certain people here now would be affected more than others, or if it would be everyone.
Everyone is affected. Not everybody knows that the last full moon really messed them up, or that the blah, blah, blah that went on with first there was a lunar eclipse with the full moon, and then there's the solar eclipse. All these bring energy to us. All this is about the rising frequency. And most people aren't going around saying, wow, that lunar eclipse with that high frequency really messed me up. Most people don't know that. What you're going to hear is, I didn't sleep. What you're going to hear is, man, I needed some drinks, or give me something to smoke, or I'm going to binge on the sugar or whatever, because they're trying to meet up or get rid of the effects of that change that's taking place. And any time there is change, everybody feels when the energy changes. They don't know that's what they're feeling. This is the tricky part. That's why we have to teach them. But people don't like change. And so when they feel that, okay, I wake up one morning after the eclipse and go, okay, something's different. And immediately it's fear that steps in. And for me, it's excitement. It's like, okay, here's the next level. But for most people, not so much.
Yes, it does.
Not so much.
Absolutely. I think
does that
for me,
make sense to you?
I'm like you. I've always embraced any and all of this spirituality and vibrations. And I personally have, experienced some really crazy stuff, but I still am okay with it. And I, in a sense, I even ask for more of it because I almost crave it, which is kind of crazy sounding, but it does something for me though, too. It enlightens my soul so much. And the higher vibration is where my soul feels the happiest.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's where you were the happiest, in the highest vibration, in Lemuria, in the beginning of Atlantis. That's when you were the happiest. And it's really kind of funny. I posted this the other day on Facebook. My husband told me the other day, he goes, "You are so insane." And he said this with all love. He said, "You just do not live in the same world as everybody else. And it's like, I know I don't. I'm in a completely different frequency, and I'm like you too. When it's like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good now. I'm ready for that next level. Let's go up another level into that higher frequency. And I can now invite it in. But most people don't understand what's happening to them physically. They don't understand what's happening to them emotionally. And the more they try to do spiritual things, the more they try to embrace or open their psychic ability, or the more Reiki they do, or the more energy work they do, and they're in constant pursuit of this, the more they do that without taking care of the physical body, the more they're going to clash with it. They're going to be tired. They're going to be depressed. They're going to be sad. They're going to be binging. And we are not taught to understand that we have to deal with all those different planes, the mental, spiritual, emotional planes that are so important within each one of us.
Sorry, dear.
Which is why psychiatric care most of the time does not work, because they're just
I get
with
it.
the emotional
Absolutely.
plane.
Thank you.
Does that make do you understand what I mean?
And I'm just kind of let you two talk in that, because there's a lot of similarities between you, what you guys been going through and what you guys go through in that, because neither of you live in the world that everybody else does. Neither you do. But as a male myself, and that we're going through stuff too. Males are going through stuff, and it's real. It's also on a different climax too that we're going through, and the feminine side of us is getting beat up right now. It feels like that. So it's no. What I was going to say though is that
it is.
It seems like
go ahead.
The male side wants to step in and protect, to be very protective of us, and yet also because of the male side stepping in, that we want more of a foundation. We want structure. We want things that you don't think of before, that you just allow universe to take care of you, and now you're looking at structure and life itself. No, it's not.
And it's not there, because the change is the constant. And it is the ego that you're literally overcoming to understand that I don't have to be in charge of this. I don't have to fix this. I can go with this flow. And I understand it because, as I said, my husband who works in, construction, real life world out there, dealing with bills to pay and people to hire and things to do. And it has taken years of living with me for him to realize that money is just energy. And that's one really hard leap because men are very much in the mental plane. You want to analyze, you want to fix, you want to control. And it is, that whole hunter-gatherer handle, take care of stuff. And what you're actually being shown now is that you don't have to do that. And it leaves you at an imbalance. How do I find that balance? What is my purpose
Absolutely.
then? What am I supposed to do? And you're supposed to have fun. That's the point. And as when we reach that point where we can understand that the process of trying to control or the process of trying to fix, and all of this is a lot harder for men than it is for women. Bless you, because of so much that goes on the mental plane. When you give up that need and understand that the universe has got your back, which I know, but then there's the battle of the ego. And there's a book that Wayne Dyer wrote. It's called Your Sacred Self, which is basically how to fight that battle between the spiritual and the ego, which tells you you're the man, you're supposed to do this. So it is this it's really that simple or that complicated, depending on how much of a struggle you put up. And the more, my husband actually said to me the other day, the more I let go, the more everything I need just shows up. But do you know how many years I've been telling him that?
Absolutely.
A lot of years. And not with criticism either, just, explaining. And, but it is, and of course, as I said, you all are in the city. That's a lot more to handle than, living in the middle of nowhere. And he's, in a bit running his own business, and people who have to go to work every day, who have to sit in traffic, who don't have time, to have a great lunch like I made for myself today, don't have time to cook even for their families. And these are the things that they have to deal with to work with the universe, the angels, and source to create the life that goes at a slower pace to bring them actual joy and happiness. That really is the goal. The whole point of this is to have fun and have joy. And until we get that, we're going to continue to just rise and rise and rise. And we will continue to struggle against the ego that says, you can't have what you want.
Absolutely.
You can't do what you want. What are you, crazy?
So this is
that kind of stuff.
I just asked her the same thing. She looks at me. She goes, she's taking it all in.
What do you think, Cyndee?
Absolutely. I'm drinking it up because it's just so true. And, I just, the more you talk, then the more I'm reminiscing of, experiences I've had. And even more recently, it's been crazy since, like you said, that supermoon we had in October, I believe it was, and it all started there. And it just has been escalating for me, and things that, these vibrations are so high, and you're right, my little body just can't handle it at times. But you know what? I didn't falter. I didn't lose it. I had days where I was like, Rod, oh my gosh, and I thought I was going to totally lose it because it was just really extreme energies that I was feeling, and my heart chest was just so extremely hot. It was hot. And the only way I could help this energy that I was feeling was I had to hug people and just, share the energies, because it was just so, it was such on a high level. It was like so divine. It was love that was within me, including around me so much and so high that it was like the only thing that was helping me is to hug people.
Yes.
And just to share that. And I was like, okay, then I can have like a little breather, if you will. But I went a month and a half this way, and my whole body I thought was just going to fry because I was so hot inside and shaken, and I wasn't sleeping well. But you know what? I didn't wuss out or nothing. I stood my ground as a human, and just went right through it. I went right through it. And then finally one day it kind of just stopped. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was able to get 6 hours of sleep that night. And, but truth be told, it's not gone. It's just not as extreme right now. But again, that was like in, December, January, and February. So those were all the, like you said, the supermoon, and then the trifecta
of
the lunar eclipse and the full moon and that comet coming in, and just, this and that, the new year, and just, it was just crazy. But I'm here and I'm doing good. And absolutely.
Yeah. Remember, the physical body is the last to catch up. You got to remember that. And you have to remember that for your clients too. While all this emotional stuff is going on, I was experiencing, I had the heart thing last year, but after October, and especially after the election, then I got this, my back went out right behind my heart chakra, in between my shoulder blades and my back. This lasted, and like I said, I go to a chiropractor regularly. I exercise, heavy duty exercise every single day. I just kept on going, like you, Cyndee. I just kept on going. And I told my friend, I said, well, I didn't go to the chiropractor more. I said, one of these days I'm going to walk in there and my body's going to say, okay, we have released this. And it took about 2 months of pain in my back. It was not constant, but it would certainly, I could certainly feel it there. And at times it would get very energized, as you were speaking about. And then, I went to the chiropractor one day and I was done. So I knew it was my heart chakra, and it was affecting my shoulder, it was affecting my hip, and it was all on the right side. My hips are still straightening out, and so is my neck, but it's all on. And I thought it was so amazing that what we're experiencing is this balance of yin and yang. And the most amazing thing to me, I hang upside down after I exercise. And when I have been going to the chiropractor for years, I have a wonderful man who does this. The problem I have had for the last 20 years is that one hip was always twisted. Oh. And no matter what he did, he couldn't get it back. Well, now they're both the same after 20 years. After this shift in this energy, and it's affecting my knee. And when the knee gets affected, then it affects the foot and how you walk. People don't realize how all of this is connected and how all of this balance that is trying to take place in this high frequency, it's like for a year I binged on peanuts. I couldn't seem to get enough peanuts. I mean, all these things that are happening, all these things we're feeling are a part of this process of transformation to get us to the place where we are in that highest frequency, that fourth, fifth dimensional plane, and to understand who we really are and our connection. And when you really think about it, baby, you got through it. That's like,
oh, absolutely.
That is so cool, right? You got it. You understood it. And it's exciting, but there's a lot, and you're going through it. And what happens is, right, and whatever exactly. You're going through, Rod, what happens is clients come to you who are going through the same thing. And the more you understand it, the more you know what's going on, the more information you can pass on to them, the more they're going to understand it. And then they'll be able to pass it on to others.
Absolutely.
So you're going to attract to you energetically people.
Well, and it's the nice thing about me is that, me being a structural therapist, that I can keep putting Cyndee back together and my clients back together too, and that, but it's more of a release. And, as it's doing muscle manipulation on somebody is important because it does create a physical ailment with it. But it's release. It's what things that they've held on for years and years and years. Neck, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. And it settles within all of those.
Yes.
Yep, all connected. And it's always seems like it's in a joint type area in that. When joint type area, when it settles all in connected. That, is that we kind of like to pack things in that area. Because it's
yes. Boy, that's for sure. Or places within us that are weaker than others. I know my chiropractor doesn't understand everything about the energy, even though I've been going to him for 20 years. But one time, and he seriously from head to toe, and I get off that table and I can feel the energy flowing. And I'm sure it's the same way for your clients. And even if he doesn't understand it, he's doing God's work. Thank you. And so are you, and it doesn't. You don't a lot of this stuff on an emotional level that they're releasing. They don't have to know exactly what it is. They just have to understand it's time to let go. It could be from a past life, but a lot of it comes from what happened in Atlantis, comes from the success or failure, because it did end in a violent way. there. So it is because the energy is familiar. People are embracing the familiar
Right.
energy, but it's
Right.
also it could
Absolutely.
be bringing out fear within
So
them.
let's
because
talk a
it
little
is
bit about
familiar.
finish up a little bit about the class that is going to be. It's Sunday, right?
Right?
Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Sunday at
Absolutely.
1 o'clock till 3:30. Give or take. Yes, at your place. That gives them time. I would recommend people, if you want to come, please eat light, but do eat. Protein is always good. Eggs are always good. Bring water. You're gonna need that. You may want to take notes. Um, the experience will be different for everyone. So, and I have no set plan, because what
Absolutely.
happens when I do classes is that it comes to me based on the people who show up for the class. So who's ever there is going to get what they need. I'm thinking we will have a meditation to Atlantis, and it's always amazing to me because, as I said before, the visuals or what they see or what they feel is always seems to be, wow, this is familiar, which is it's cool. There's no way to validate this. This is the interesting part. I mean, I've been given this information, and usually in the middle of the night between,
Right.
at about 3 a.m., as you probably all understand, because information does seem to show up at 3 a.m. And the story of it has been given to me over the years, and it's just been recently that it's like,
Right.
remember we tried to do this before, Rod, and the energy of it, the people weren't ready. So we will see this time if the people are ready. And I'll be taking this class also. I'll be doing it when I go to Texas, Louisville, Texas, at Miracles of Joy the first weekend in May, and I'll be having this class there also. So we'll see.
Right.
And people need answers, but sometimes they're afraid of the answers they're going to get, and there's nothing fearful
For
about
sure.
this, but change always.
Absolutely.
We're programmed.
Well, Linda,
Change is scary.
we're going to have to cut it off
So-
here. But I am so excited. How can the people get a hold of you? That if they want a reading or
Okay. Yes. You can call me. Let's go to my website, lindawest-medium.com. My phone number's there. You can email me from there. I have Facebook page, Linda West, and I have another Facebook page, Linda West Psychic Medium. So yes, I am very accessible, and I'll be at Rod's place on
We
Sunday.
also on our website, the beyondthenumber2day.com, and that we also
Yes.
have a link.
Yes.
You can actually
Looking
pre-order
forward
your
to
tickets if you'd like before you get there. We've got a few people that's doing that already. That we do have limited seating. That so they need to get something up now if they want to do this. That Cyndee and I will be. We can't wait to see you.
Well, I'll see
You're
you on
welcome.
Sunday
Thank you.
then, my
Wow.
friends.
You're such an asset.
And
I
thank
look
you for
forward to
the
seeing you on
great
Sunday
work
as
you
well.
both do. Thank you.
Absolutely, dear. That's Linda West will be here. Huh? Linda West will be here at Beyond Today Sunday. And we're so excited to have Linda West around
Me
and
too, dear.
be here with us. And that,
Take care.
come and join us when she presents this
Take
beautiful
care, everybody.
Atlantis class, and it's gorgeous. I just getting a little bit of it here. It made me tear up. It made me feel like going back home and everything. It was really really exciting, and I think this is going to be even more exciting. That's Beyond Today. We're located at 11223 North 28th Drive, Suite F101 in Phoenix, Arizona. If you'd like to give us a call, it's 602-374-4926. That number again is 602-374-4926. My name is Rod Lyman at Beyond Today, and my beautiful co-host is
Cyndee Muby.
Yes, we're
Thank
both here
you.
most of the time. And if you'd like to set up a time with us or even individually, Cyndee does some beautiful color work, and I'm a structural therapist and a healer myself. And just give us a call at 602-374-4926. Stop by anytime at Beyond Today. We are so proud to have Linda West here. Yes, we had a few technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Nothing we can do, but it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So we love you, Linda. We're going to see you Sunday. So excited.
Love
about
you.
everything.
Thank you all.
Love you. Have a good night.
Love you too. Bye-bye.